and the talent that my mother had born to her equals a what is it, Trent?
Yo, man, that's the formula.
That crust up your eyes.
Yeah. Do need some more actually. I did like that that drink you gave me this morning though.
I get such mixed reviews because, I mean, in that case where the greens powder is flavored, I feel like it's better because it cuts like the collagen and the creatine. But
Yeah.
when we were in Michigan, I always just kind of like force whoever I'm with to take the drink as I do.
Yeah.
So it does make me feel better. Everyone usually likes it too if they drink it.
If they drink it.
Yeah. But in this case, like I said, it was like strawberry flavored or whatever, so it's not as intense, but
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend it. Like I had that long period where I didn't drink caffeine at all. So I found a new version of like what could keep me energized.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of that. It's usually just hydration for me. Like if I'm dehydrated, I am exhausted.
When you put the electrolytes in there though, like without the flavored greens, is it still like it doesn't taste that good? Because I've had those electrolytes plain and I think they taste really good.
Yeah. It's just like a different texture. Like, the unflavored greens powder is kind of like, I explained this before, it's kind of like chalky or like
more
earthy.
Yeah.
And then the electrolytes are like Powerade.
Yeah.
So it's almost mixing like a juice with kind of like matcha.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm gonna say a good way to put it is just like the
That
different
makes
texture
sense.
and the different like flavor styles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd highly recommend it. Like I said, when I wasn't doing caffeine, I had to kind of find a new version of something to keep me going. And
Have you seen that promethazine or whatever?
promethazine,
No.
the cough syrup.
It keeps popping up for me like on social media, but it's supposedly this like surfer dude made it, and it's supposed to be like all the benefits of caffeine without like the crash section of the caffeine. So it's supposed to make you like more clear. It's supposed to make you I don't know, sharper and relaxed, I guess, because it's I mean, in the commercial, he says like it takes away the anxiety piece that comes along with caffeine.
So it's like just a different form of energy. It's not caffeine, or it's still caffeine and just like has some other stuff stripped from it.
I think it's still caffeine, but it's like weed compared to
CBD.
CBD. Yeah.
So it's just like the compound of it that like helps you energize. Or you're saying like in comparison to coffee, like if this is like the bad stuff stripped away from like natural or like energy drinks or whatever, but just the pure form of what gives you the energy.
Yeah, I think it's like down to the pure form of like extracting this part of it only compared to like the full breadth of what caffeine would be.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like the capsules.
Yeah.
I don't actually use those that often. I did at a different time. And when I make my pre-workout, I will dump like a little bit in there. But
Yeah.
I always have just been like a straight to the point guy when it comes to coffee, when it comes to like tea. I just want like the most pure form without a crash or something that like makes me feel shitty or
Typically what I drink nowadays is cortados instead.
what is that again?
That's where it's even amount of steamed milk to espresso.
Espresso.
And then I mix it and that actually has good flavor. Like it still gives you almost like how a latte tastes, It's but it's more focused on the coffee of the flavor.
Yeah.
Or the flavor of the coffee, I should say. Because I used to just drink espresso.
Yeah.
But I want pure.
Shots.
But like a straight espresso, I feel like is hard on your stomach. Especially half the time I drink coffee before I eat even.
Yeah.
So then it's like just ripping your stomach line. I feel like.
Do you guys feel like you've fallen off of like using the espresso machine like you did, or do you still use it just as consistently, but maybe not like for fun when you were first learning it?
So Steph uses it every day.
Yeah.
I leave before she wakes up though.
So you don't want to fire it up and wake her
Yeah,
up.
like I was doing that for a week and she was so upset because I was waking her up so early.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like
Yeah.
it's loud as shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on the weekends, I make us coffee. I like making it out of there because like it's exactly how I want it to taste compared to, there's good coffee everywhere, but
Yeah.
for me, I like the way that mine tastes best. So.
Do you think like the ritual of it, like that has kind of worn off? Like,
I like the whole process of it. I think it's relaxing. I think it makes me ready for it and like appreciate it a lot more.
do you think you appreciate it less though than when you first got into it? Because now it just is an extra step to get the caffeine, or do you think it's like kind of stayed consistent?
I mean, when I first got it, it was so exciting to like
Yeah.
test it out and to understand. Now I have a good enough understanding of like sometimes the machine gets messed up. Like you clean it or you start using it for a while and then you have to start from scratch because you're like, well, these settings are off. Like this happened to us a couple months ago. So it's like, it's not pulling the same, like all this stuff. And I was like, so it took me like a couple days to figure it out because I had to keep trying it. And,
Yeah.
but I don't do, when I first got it, I was like 5 o'clock at home and I'd practice again and be ripping five
In the
espresso
afternoon.
shots. Yeah,
Yeah.
late at night. And now I'm like, I need to sleep. So I like this enough, but like
Yeah.
I still need to go to bed. So
Well, I remember when I came to visit in Chicago and we were doing like espresso martinis and
Yeah.
espresso shot here and there. And I did think the process too. That's why I just was curious if the allure, when it's still brand new, wears off.
yeah,
I figured I kind of knew what your answer was going to be, but
yeah,
it's just such an interesting process. I struggle. I go back and forth on it too because I appreciated the process and like you taught me kind of how it was done and things, and I
Yeah.
was fired up about it when I came back. Like I'm gonna get a machine or whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah,
living so close to coffee shops, not that you guys don't, but I am more of like I like the routine of I've got to get ready and I've
Yeah.
got to like walk down the street, order the coffee. It gives me a chance to kind of take a break from, which I guess is kind of the same thing as what making it does. But we're kind of in tax season right now. So every year during tax season, I print out all of my bank statements from all the past 12 months from the past year. And we got a new tax guy this year. And I just was kind of getting my ducks in a row. The whole part about like saving receipts and like what you can write off and what you can't, and specifically like dining out and then like business dinners
yeah,
and things like that have always kind of been a gray area to me because I don't know, some say you can write off your coffee that you get like if you're meeting over business.
yeah,
So anyway, I was going through my statements and highlighting every single time I bought coffee throughout the year. So it was just becoming more aware or apparent to me, one, how much I'm doing that, and two, what
Yeah.
I'm spending on it. And again, like you're kind of paying for the convenience piece of it. But just from like a macro level, looking back on the whole year, like probably 4 or 5 days of the week, I was getting coffee from the place we were today, Sebastian
Yeah.
Joe's. So that part clearly is a ritual to me. And I like working from coffee shops and stuff too. So obviously that's part of it. But I just am always curious about because we don't have an espresso machine, as you
Yeah.
know, like that's just my version of it, going to the coffee shop. But I just am curious if I would appreciate the ritual of making it more than
But
what
I
I
think
currently have.
I think the difference though is like you have a process that you do in the morning for like a few different things,
Yeah.
and
My version of
yeah, and I think I completely get what you're saying. Like I like to go to the coffee shop in the morning, get some work done.
yeah.
Like that's where I get my best work done. I think we talked about this in the last podcast, but there is something to being like, I know I need to go here. I'm gonna get ready for it. This is where I go to do this and like lock in.
Yeah.
So I think that's like I still go on Sundays, every Sunday to the coffee shop
Yeah.
because I want to get like, 2 hours of good work done. Or even on Fridays, I do that because I work from home. Go there, spend the first 4 hours of my day there, like just grinding shit out. So,
Wait, say that you work from home on Fridays.
yeah, I work from home on Fridays, but I go to a coffee shop in the morning before Steph's up. Because, like, for me, I need the separation of my house compared to where I work.
Yeah.
If I had an office, maybe it'd be different. But
Yeah. An office in your house.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, right now, it's just living room. There's a desk, like, behind the couch. But for me, I'm like,
You don't associate that to a workstation.
yeah. I'm like, this is where I relax. I don't need to be fucking that up. So,
Yeah. Well, I've had versions of that too. Sometimes it freaks me out thinking about how long I've worked from home
yeah.
because, I mean, we started our careers late 2019, early 2020.
Yeah.
And then what was it, 2021 that COVID started?
Yeah.
So I was a year and some change into this new company. And then COVID happened. We immediately went to like work remotely. And I've worked remotely ever since. I can count on
How many days in the week were you in before?
all
Before
of them.
COVID? Oh, you guys had to be in every day?
Yeah. I mean, remote was like not,
Yeah.
there was like some people who had been there for a while that had a hybrid setup where they could like work from home, but you had to work at the company for a while. But, now that was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been to an office maybe, I want to say like 5 or 6 times in the past 5 years.
That's crazy.
So
So does the rest of the company, besides like I wouldn't call you IT, but like SEO and like, but like people that, like who has to go into the office nowadays for you guys?
I don't know that anybody has to. I mean, maybe like higher up execs have a certain amount of days, but for Polaris, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, we started having like a mandatory return to work, and they were doing it in waves. So it was like wave 1 was like X groups of people at the company. Wave 2 was like other groups of the company. By the time they got to our wave, like the DNIT team is what I work under. So many people had dug their heels in on not wanting to go back to the office that they were like, fuck it. Like everyone can just work from home. You have an option to come into the office if you want, but it's not required.
Oh, for the whole company?
For the whole company.
Damn.
As far as I know, like maybe I don't work in other lanes really. We're pretty like siloed with the work that we do, but none of my immediate team goes into the office. I have a desk.
Yeah.
And every
You have
time
a desk?
I do have a desk. Every time
And you've been there 5 times in the last 5 years?
I'm talking about 5 or 6 times in all of my career. For Polaris, it's been maybe twice or 3 times.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just was gonna say like there's layers to it where I was like, yeah, I don't want to work in the same room because I associate that with like the living room in your case.
Yeah.
But then even having a home office, my like whole house feels like a workstation in a sense because
Yeah.
sometimes I'll work from the living room, sometimes I'll work from the kitchen, sometimes I'll work from my office now, but like more so because I got that standing desk and I've kind of been like revamping the vibe. But I've been going back and forth a lot, especially in the past few months, about getting an office, getting some sort of membership at like a WeWork
Yeah.
versus either being at home or at a coffee shop, just because I need to be out of the house. I feed off like energy of other people working. I feed off not having the distractions that I do at home. Again, this is like an age old story now that people work from home, like the distractions that exist. But going into my company's office feels claustrophobic to me, whereas feeling like going into a place that I chose
Yeah.
feels just like a different energy. So
No, I get that for sure. Like, I mean, I'm 4 days in the office, but when you're in the office, then you're like, who's watching me?
yeah,
Because that is a real thing. Like,
Yeah.
people want to know what you're doing, especially like, I would say leadership. But then I think about it at times, I'm like, no one notices you. Like realistically, unless you're directly correlated to them, people don't even notice you.
Yeah.
Like there's a girl that I would say hi to every day I've worked there 11 months. She just got promoted to a manager. I was like, oh, congratulations. She's like, oh, I don't even know you. Like,
Wow.
like not
Oh, like
actually.
you messaged her?
No, like I went up to her in person and said, congratulations. We had never like shared our names or anything, but she was just like, people
Yeah.
do that where they just are walking. If you wave or smile at them, they do the same.
And you start every day?
Damn near.
Wow.
Like, and that's not
That's
something
so that's like
surprises
such a representation of like small fish, big pond at a company, like people
Yeah.
you could see every day and still not
me. Yeah.
know you by association.
And I know that like I over notice things with a lot of people. Like I've gotten that
True.
throughout my lifetime of like, I'll know someone's name or I'll know like, oh yeah, you remember you did this? And like, bro, I don't even know you. Like,
Yeah.
And I don't know. So maybe it's just everybody else is doing that. And I don't know. But it surprised me when she like was very shocked to even like,
Have you congratulated her as a
Yeah.
complete stranger?
yeah.
How many people did you graduate high school with?
Like 400.
And do you
more?
think like if you saw any person you graduated with on the street, you'd recognize them?
Yeah. Like if I see people when I'm in Green Bay, I'll say hi to them. Even if they were like not my friend or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
But do you think like all 400 of those people you'd recognize? No. There's people in there that you maybe wouldn't know.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I knew a lot of people in the school
Yeah.
just because, at least in my grade, and like the surrounding grades, I knew a good portion of them, but I would at least recognize most people
Yeah.
if they went to Preble.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have like if there's 2,000 kids at the school, like you're not going to know every single person.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, which I guess makes sense. I'm just curious because you talk about your like vantage point on like what you remember that other people maybe won't.
yeah.
And I've had lots of conversations. We graduated with, like a couple hundred more people
Yeah.
than you did. But I like to think that for the most part, there's maybe a few like stragglers that I wouldn't recognize if I saw in person. But maybe I wouldn't know names, but like I could call any person out if I saw them in a group of people and be like,
Yeah.
that person I graduated with.
Yeah.
And some of my friends are like,
Yeah.
I couldn't freaking pick out, 80% of the people that I graduated with.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that necessarily relates to like your experience with Salesforce, but I just am wondering if there's a correlation between things you notice and like remembrance and like associations to certain memories.
So why do you think for you that you would be able to pick them out of a crowd compared to most people?
I'm sure that like what we talked about when we kind of like did my podcast about me just being in a bunch of different groups plays into that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were very just heads down. I stick to the people that I know. There's a bunch of stuff happening around me, but I don't concern myself with that because it's not my friends.
Yeah.
But I was also just, I was in band. I was, like I said, I was in debate. I was on the speech team for a little bit. Like I was getting people from all
Yeah.
different angles. So maybe that just broadened the groups that I know. But I also feel like my eyes were just maybe a little bit more open where I'd take people in and, I'd say hi to a stranger in the hallway like you said you would, where otherwise people might just, stick to themselves and the people they know. I don't know.
I think for me, one thing that my mom always talks about is like when I was a kid, I always remembered people by their shoes, especially basketball. Like
Basketballs, yeah.
I could tell you if I see a kid from high school or like middle school that I played against,
Yeah.
if I didn't know their name, but oh yeah, he wore these. you
Yeah.
know?
That's a good.
And I think like that was like another thing with like clothes or like I think I'm decent at it. I feel like Steph says this to me of being able to remember people's names, but it's always like that thing of how do I correlate this person to that? You know? And I think maybe with like school or work or wherever the places that you are, if you're looking at the whole room or whatever, you tend to notice like a specific thing about a person.
Yeah.
So like maybe I probably wouldn't remember somebody that like was in the school,
Yeah.
but like I had no correlation of a vantage point, then maybe not.
Do you have any tricks to remember people's names when you meet them for the first time?
I always say like, oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, Casey. I'll try to say your name 3 times within the first 30 seconds of meeting you. And I try to remember like one thing about you. So it'll be like, I'll say, oh, Casey? Oh, Casey, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask you a question right away and say your name again.
Yeah.
And by that time, I'll like give you a compliment like, oh, I like your pants, Casey.
Yeah. You're good at that, I've noticed.
Yeah. And that's like that correlation piece for me.
Yeah.
So
I feel like just confirming the name. Like I see so many people when they do an introduction, they're just like waiting to say their name and not taking it in.
they don't care.
But I'm not going to like duck in case I have to say it again or I need to remember your name. If I didn't hear you, I'm going to say, sorry, what was your name? Like I need for sure confirmation.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, John. Like I do usually at least repeat it back once. I don't like do the 3 rule, but I don't know how intentional that is and how much it's just like courtesy of like making sure I'm introducing myself and am just as concerned about like getting to know your name and whatever. So
it reminds me of work calls. This is like so embarrassing. It happens basically on every call we're on. Like there's a breadth of types of names and cultures of people that we're talking with. So like sometimes you get a crazy name in there. Like the last one I was on, it was like Shabazz or something like that. And it never fails that every single person in the call calls the same person a different name. And I'll be chatting like because we do a Slack channel on the side.
like says their name, like pronounces it
like,
incorrectly or says it wrong.
I'll say Shabazz. You'll be the other person on the call from my team and you'll call him Shaban. Or like.
I think that's so rude.
It is incredibly rude. And it's crazy when you've talked to people like 4 times. Like this happened last week. We've talked to this one group of people at least 4 to 5 times. The name has not changed of this woman.
Yeah.
Every single person damn near said the name differently. And I'm like, yo,
That's just like poor attention to detail.
Yeah.
I feel like it's crazy that, especially when it's like different cultures, names that are harder to pronounce. And I even was thinking about that when I just explained on how I'm making sure I'm dialing in what their name is and how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
How do you say that? Can you confirm whatever? And the fact that, I don't know, people are allowed to just so confidently butcher a name. Like there's never going to be a time that I'm going to say a name that I'm not 100% confident in.
Yeah.
Like I always will have the internal dialogue of like, or when someone knows your name and like you kind of forget their name, like you kind of just have to rip the Band-Aid off and say like remind me of your name again. Yeah. Just so you can kind of get back on an even playing field. But I don't know, those experiences when I hear people just confidently butcher a name, like there's no way, 1, you even thought that was right, and 2, why would you go in so confidently if you weren't positive that's how you say it? Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy.
A trick that Steph and I have for if I don't know someone's name and they know my name, if I'm introducing or if we're like meeting them, oh, what's up, Trent? If I say like, oh, this is my girlfriend, Steph, then she knows like right away to say like,
what's your name?
Yeah.
You kind of use their introduction as the scapegoat to figure the name out. Yeah,
like
that's a good idea.
If he were to say like, hey, Trent, and I didn't respond with, hey, Casey.
Yeah.
She knows like, okay, he has no idea about this person.
I should have that conversation with Caroline so she thinks about that. I feel like I tee it up the same way, like maybe without her knowing. But if I just start the conversation without having to say their name, I can just default to saying, this is Caroline.
Yeah.
And then he's going to obviously say his name if they're doing a formal introduction. So I don't know. That's good. That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. Because there's just so many. That's always the worst, though.
Yeah.
I always feel so bad being like, if they're confident in knowing who you are.
Yeah. Well, that makes me think of high school. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people from high school that would know my name and I wouldn't know theirs.
Yeah.
There's definitely miscellaneous situations in life where people are like, Casey, and I'm like, you, good to see you.
That was the worst in college, especially when you're drinking.
Mm-hmm.
There was this one guy, I always felt so terrible. Every single week, he'd be like, Trent. And every week I would forget his name. And if it killed me, but he'd always meet me when I was plastered.
Yeah. Well, you're also him, bro. So everybody knows you. Your name is just passed around. And I'm excited to see this guy.
Yeah.
We used to do this thing in college, and not to make this whole episode about high school, but I went to college with like a good girlfriend that I've known since, middle school or whatever, Amelia. And when other friends would visit, I guess we've done this too, not just strictly in Mankato, but we'd introduce ourselves to people that we knew we probably wouldn't see again as people that only we would know from high school. So we'd like introduce ourselves to a stranger and say like a name that like Amelia would recognize, and just totally off the wall, someone from high school that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we did that all the time and we get a good laugh out of it.
Yeah.
So funny.
Here, we always, if we didn't want someone to know our names, we just introduce ourselves as Jenkins. And then all of our friends knew, like, if somebody asks you what his name is, you instantly respond Jenkins. Oh, Jenkins.
Why Jenkins? Where did that come from?
I don't know. Just, we used to have all these little isms that just made no sense.
In college?
High school.
Oh, in high school?
Yeah, it's like me. If you meet all my high school friends and we're talking, like, there's just random things that we'll say confidently in a sentence that you'll be lost.
The same. I was telling you about the daps that we do the other day. Like they take it an extra level where it's like the most minimal amount of touch in a dap, the better.
Yeah.
But it's like if someone else saw us do that, they'd be like, "What the hell are these guys doing?" Yeah. Just to kind of break the fourth wall here. Obviously, we're in person for the first time shooting a podcast together. Mm-hmm. We just got done with a little sledding extravaganza.
Indeed.
Today is an important day.
Oh, yeah. It's my 29th birthday. I'm an old head now.
Trent chose to hang out with me for, the 4th year in a row on his birthday?
Yeah, I think 4 years now.
You guys...
Came to the conclusion of...
Oh, it's crazy. It's been like some have been in Chicago, some have been here. Mm-hmm. I guess I don't know on your end if it's ever been intentional, but I feel like we talk months previous and then we're just looking for weekends that work, and then somehow this ended up being the weekend.
It must be intuitive at this point.
Yeah.
Like, because, when I sent this weekend to you, I wasn't thinking like it's my birthday. At least I don't think. I don't know. Who knows? Either way, I'm glad it happens. Like, I was saying to Steph, even like, well, you guys have treated us so well. It's like incredible. Like, walking in was insane. Casey and Caroline, they made like a basket for us, like a card, put something on the wall that said happy birthday, because Steph's birthday is in like a week too. So, but just walking in, we were deeply appreciative. And then like how you guys always treat us and have this whole time too, just like making us feel comfortable and stuff, and really showing up for us is, I was saying, like, I understand why I care so deeply about you and Caroline too, and like we do want to spend time with you guys, and like, I don't know, it feels easy. Like, one thing that I've been thinking about, because you guys keep asking me, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
I know. I feel bad about that. I'm like, I'm not trying to press you on your birthday, but I just want to make sure it's a good day.
I think the only thing that really matters to me is like being with you guys and with Steph, like, because I think for me, it's like, just, I care about being around the people I really love, and you guys are some of those people too. So
Yeah.
and I don't get to see you that often, so
Yeah.
I wanted to enjoy my time with you. Like, it didn't matter what we were doing as long as we were just together. Like, last night was awesome. We played that music game. That was really
Hitster.
fun.
Yeah.
Hitster. And then Mario Party was so fun. That was the first time I've seen Steph get into a game too,
Yeah.
which is really
She's
fun.
like talking shit and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
great.
No, we're glad you guys are here too. Obviously, I mean, Caroline and I both like to host, and it just makes it fun, like getting to do stuff for you guys, because I know you'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we're simple people too, so we don't want to set the bar like too high or like expectations too crazy. I mean, especially as we get older, I'm the same way with my birthdays, where I don't want to do much. I don't necessarily even want like a lot of attention. Like, I just want to do something where it's
That's
like
been
chill. Yeah, I know. And I'm trying to find a balance of that, because I mean, I don't want to say it's pressure, but it's, you're here on your birthday. We want to make sure it's a good birthday. Obviously, schedule changes have happened.
Yeah.
You guys were supposed to ride the train in.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of the blizzard of the year in Minneapolis, which caused your train on the way here to get canceled and caused your train on the way home to get canceled. You guys were supposed to go home early this morning, right?
Yeah. Probably be getting home like right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Obviously now, I mean, you knew a few days ago, I guess, that your train wasn't going to be going back early this morning. You guys are going back tomorrow instead. So now you're here for your full birthday.
Yeah.
A little less pressure if you guys would have just left at like 8:00 and we just are like, hey, happy birthday, give you a dap and send you on your way. But I don't know. I told Caroline too, I'm like, all right, I got to stop asking Trent what he wants to do. But I know that you are pretty chill about what you want to do. And I feel like we've done a good job of finding a balance today too, between like doing stuff, but still, I mean, we've stayed within 100-yard radius from our house today.
We went sledding. That was so sick. I haven't sledded in years, and I felt like a little kid again. I was running up the hill, personally.
We have a hill right across the street from where we live that, I mean, like I said, we've gotten a ton of snow, and Caroline floated the idea about sliding. We talked about it all season because that's such a good hill for it.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I really want to do it. She's like, but I don't want to like force them to do it. I can't really tell if they want to do it or not. And she ordered online. We have like an Ace Hardware that's just right down the street. And we went out and picked up 2 sleds this morning, and we came back, and then we all got bundled up, and then we walked back down the street to go to Sebastian Joe's and get a coffee. And we just hung there for a while, chopped it up, headed back. Yeah, and then we came back, and then we geared up, and we went sledding, and Trent was hitting some jumps on the sled. I mean, we all were trying, but I feel like you had like the path down the best to get down to actually hit that jump.
I was just going, it was because I was doing face first with my toes then.
Yeah.
Helping me steer.
We'll see how good I am with posts. Maybe I could like toss that clip on top of the pod at this point so people can see another.
Yeah. Me. And you doing your barrel roll?
I did do a little barrel roll. I was struggling to stay. I wore, like for context too, I wore my snowboard boots and brought my snowboard boots just because I've been itching since I haven't gone in a while since the wrist broke. But I brought that with, and it wasn't that productive because the hill was short and the snow was so choppy that it was hard to ride the snowboard. But when I was on the sled, I kept like leaning more heavily one way or the other, and it caused me to spin out. And then one time I did like a barrel roll but held on to the sled and then just kind of like jumped back down. So
yeah.
But what else do you want to do for your birthday, bro? Come on.
Just watch the Oscars.
Yeah, let's talk Oscars. I'm making a big sacrifice here to record this podcast over Oscar time. It's been on my calendar for 6 months, and your priority. It's all about you today.
No, that's because these damn microphones weren't working. It took us like an hour to set these microphones up. So.
I know. I was pretty excited with how. I mean, we got like a good setup pretty quickly. Like we have just a microphone or a camera that's sitting on a bookshelf in the back. Also, we're in my house. Yeah. We're in the basement room of our house where Caroline has been using for her flower setup and preparation. And I was kind of pleased, like pretty quickly, like how quickly it came together. Like we got some good lighting, like we got a good angle for the camera so we both could fit in. But then we've been breaking our back for the last 2 hours trying to get two microphones to work so that I could hold the microphone and then Trent could hold the microphone. And it just was like such a hassle. Like obviously the podcast that Caroline and I did will never go on this channel, but we did something similar that we're doing yearly where we just record our past year and kind of detail the things we did and the trips we took. And we had the same struggle where it doesn't recognize when two mics are plugged in. And anyway, we're spending too much time explaining this, but all to be said, the setup is working. And obviously it's our first time ever recording an in-person podcast, which we're going to feel spoiled here. Like it's going to suck going back to recording virtually, but I'm glad we're at least getting one, and we got to try to find a frequency to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think like what's nice too about us doing this is, especially in person, I think I have this struggle like every time I meet up with you or like with other friends, and especially couples, is like we're doing all these couple things, but like we don't get time to actually have a full conversation. So usually we end up like staying up late or something. But we've been having fun staying up late with everybody. So it's nice too that we actually like get to talk. I think yesterday in the coffee shop was nice too. We talked, you know, shared some stuff about what's going on with us and everything. So
this is a good version of that. I didn't even think about that. I know you kind of like to get introspective on your birthday too, so that's something I eventually want to get into. But how has it been being back in Minneapolis? I'm always curious, just because you lived here for a while, and then you kind of somewhat abruptly moved out, and now you live in Chicago, so you have like a different thing to compare it to. How has it felt being here? How do you compare like this area to other areas that you spent in Minneapolis in the past? Like, what thoughts have you had since you've been here?
I think for me, I thought it would be weirder being here. I think like for a long time I've kind of avoided Minneapolis in a sense, just because it was like at the time fresh of like me moving and everything going down. But I feel good. Like I like Minneapolis. I was a hater for a minute. Like
after you left, you're talking about?
Yeah. I was just saying like, oh, that place sucks. But I do think there is so many like beautiful things about Minneapolis, especially like community is something that I think does really like is missing in where I live now, especially like the context that we were talking about was with ICE being here, and like even in Chicago, I live in the city, so like it's maybe different than what it was in like some of the suburbs or like what it was in some of the different areas within Chicago. But I think like the way that people actually look at each other and like hold each other accountable and want them all to be part of this thing has been really cool to see. Like you can't go anywhere and not see a sign that says like ICE out.
You're talking about here?
Yeah. Or like going into a shop and there's whistles still there for people to grab, and like, or some sort of context of like giving understanding of what's going on and like what their thoughts are as a business too. Which is cool. And I think like being in Linden Hills, I love this area because it also is like adjacent to where I lived in Uptown. Like I loved Uptown. And it's pretty similar. Like I do even remember going to Sebastian Joe's like on my own one time. And just like, I don't know, I do really like this area. Being downtown was cool. Like it was nice to see things that I hadn't seen in a long time. Even like I kept saying like, oh, we did this here, like this happened here. And
which is inevitable.
But it was cool to like reflect on some of that. I didn't get in every single nook and cranny that I used to spend time in, but it was good to like at least go to the city, spend some time there, especially on streets that I was like familiar with too. Because
Yeah.
And that breakfast with pizza was so fucking good.
Oh yeah. Where did we go? Oh, Red Rabbit.
Red Rabbit, yeah.
The thing about Minneapolis is, and it's like so interesting to me, especially growing up in like such a suburban world where Caroline said this earlier, just around people who just associate Minneapolis with like big city danger, shootings, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If that's just constantly what you're around and like the expectation, you have this point of view that's so different from once you're here.
Yeah.
And also the different pockets that exist that vary so heavily.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't come to this area even growing up in Minnesota and like in a, 30-minute south suburb of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I could count on, 5, 6 fingers how many times I've been to this specific area.
Yeah.
So coming here again, this is kind of like a suburban version of like our town in the outskirts of Minneapolis. But I just feel like this is the perfect balance of we have the lakes, we've got the community, like you said, we've got the downtown shops in Linden Hills. Like everything that's there is everything that I feel like I personally need. The co-op that we grocery shop at is a mile away. It cuts back all the bad stuff that I'd find in the grocery store and really expedites like the shopping.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just was interested in your perspective and coming back here. Again, one, maybe like you didn't spend a lot of time in this area, but two, once we were, we spent time downtown and just passing by some of the areas that you'd experienced in the past. Because, I mean, honestly, you, even being from out of town, have spent more time living in Minneapolis almost than I did, and living in like a more Minneapolis town than I did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always my brain defaults when comparing Minneapolis to Chicago, like the city part.
Yeah.
Obviously, the city part of Chicago is significantly different. But Linden Hills, is kind of what, like Lincoln Park, or like, not that specifically, but tell me some city, like some outskirt suburbs of Chicago that might feel like this or have more of a suburban feel than proper downtown Chicago.
Yeah, I think this reminds me most of like Ravenswood, probably, but that's like north of the city. It's like, I think Minneapolis is an interesting anomaly amongst like big cities because you guys like have regular neighborhoods on top of the city or like right on the city limit. Like, like I think of even driving down the highway going past like the art museum. Those are obviously like the biggest houses in Minneapolis, but they overlook the city and they are part of the city. Like it's a, its own neighborhood, but like that's the same as Linden Hills. It's still like on the edge of where I would consider the city limits. So.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was thinking too, but I figured you'd have a better perspective after living here and then living in a different city, because I've never lived in a different big city like that. So
yeah, I gotta pee so bad. Let me be right back.
Let her in. See, how does the shot look? Now it's just me. Now it's just your boy. Let's see, what are we at? 43 minutes. What were we talking about though?
Talking about how Minneapolis is kind of like an anomaly of how people like there's neighborhoods on top of the city.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, Ravenswood is the one that comes to mind, specifically like Linden Hills area.
Yeah.
But that's like, it's still considered the city though, but it's like 35 minutes north of where I live.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I kind of figured, because when we come to visit you guys, obviously you live in the heart of downtown, so you're getting like a full city experience. And you guys come here and we're in Minneapolis, but we have, houses surrounding us and parks and the lakes. And
there is like other areas of, I would say even like Wicker is kind of, but the reason that I say Ravenswood more so is just because of how the houses look. Like in Chicago, there's a very specific type of architecture. I forget what it's called, but like I know like a lot of Polish immigrants is the one that, from like what I've heard, is they came here, they'd build a house for them and for, you know, one other family to live. And it's like the very like straight,
Yeah,
boxy type of look.
that's Chicago wide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe it's not just Polish, but I think from the story I heard, like
yeah.
a realtor talking about it, that's what it was. But yeah, they would build it, they would live one part, and then their family members would live in the other part, and they would pay them rent, and then that's like the family house. So
I think I've maybe heard that or like something
yeah,
like that previously.
yeah, which I think is like actually so crazy though, to think you come to a country and then you build a house that you live in by your hands,
And then you build another one for another family.
yeah.
Yeah, we're far removed from a world where that would ever exist.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Oscars a little bit more, though. Like, I have a list here of all the stuff that's being nominated for Best Picture. A few of them we've already discussed. We've kind of given our feedback. I don't know how in depth we want to get here, but I'm personally looking forward to seeing. Are you like a award show watcher typically, or like you kind of can take it or leave it?
I don't really watch them that often, but like I still like to know who won and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten more interested in it in the past few years just because I just like the feeling of like a collective event.
Yeah.
It feels like it's rare where you get to see all of those people under one roof after consuming art from them in the past year, like at the Grammys I'm thinking of as well. I also don't want to make it seem like I'm some like super fan and like know the in-depth details of every movie that's coming out, but goal for me this year, and maybe I've talked about this in a previous episode, but was to watch more movies and recognizing how silly it is that like I can't sit through a movie because my attention span is so short. I've always appreciated cinema.
Yeah.
I've always appreciated a wide range of movies, just like I do with music. I can come out of a movie thinking that wasn't my favorite movie I've ever watched. I maybe wouldn't recommend others to watch it, but there's elements of it I can appreciate.
Yeah.
Especially being able to appreciate how a scene was shot and acting performances and the colors. And so that led me down. I've had like the Oscars on my calendar and just wanted to see how many movies I could watch. Again, didn't do that great of a job, honestly, but I feel like I have watched the ones I'd like to have an opinion on when watching the Oscars.
Yeah.
To see like how things kind of shake out. But yeah, I don't know. I just was kind of looking forward to it. And like I said, I have the list here. So all the movies that are nominated for Best Picture are Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and then Train Dreams.
Can I see that?
Yeah, I was going to say any standout items on that list. I just was looking and there's, I mean, a few that I haven't seen. So like I haven't seen Hamnet, which I know is like super popular. I don't know if it's going to be popular enough to win an award. I think that's like I wonder if you could even just like find a shop. That's like I don't know, I might butcher it, but I think it's like a love story about, I just associate it with Hamlet, which I don't know if that's correct, but I know like a lot of the big ones. Oh yeah, it's with Paul Mescal, and it's not that guy playing the guitar. Apparently that's a guy too, but it's kind of like it's like set in the, I don't know, kind of like medieval times.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't have to like spend a ton of time talking about movies. Oh, a novel about the life of William Shakespeare's wife, Agnes, and the grief following the death of their son Hamlet, which is inspired by the play Hamlet. Okay, so I wasn't fully off, but the film explores love, loss, and grief through contrasting ways Agnes and William cope with Buckley and Mescal receiving acclaim for their performances. So, again, this is just one I guess we haven't seen, but
Yeah.
obviously a few of the standouts for us and ones that we've talked about in the past. Marty maybe isn't a standout. You voiced not being a big fan about that, but ones we're familiar with, I'll say.
Yeah.
Marty, One Battle After Another. Sinners, I think, are kind of the big three.
The other one that I'm actually so upset that I haven't seen is the Begonia one.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
Everybody I've talked to is like, that movie's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I loved it. You just watched it. What were your thoughts?
I watched it on, Thursday. Yeah, I thought it was great. It was one of those movies where I was kind of confused at the end, or not confused, but there was parts of it that I always recognize when there's like a roller coaster on if it's got me or not. It's a movie that has a lot of build up and a lot of anticipation.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's about at all? Like, do you know, like, conceptually what it's about?
Yeah. The woman gets like kidnapped, right? And she's like, is she like a politician or something?
Yeah, she's the CEO of just a super, super big company.
Yeah.
And the main character, whose name I'm forgetting, but he was in like
He's
Breaking
from
Bad.
Like Mike.
And Like Mike, yeah.
That's the one thing though. Every time I see that mofo, I just think like, you're the bully from Like Mike.
My dad and I were just texting about it. My dad and I have very similar movie tastes, and I've recommended him to watch it. And Emma Stone's one of the producers. Interesting.
Yeah.
But he's like, I always think of him as the guy from Breaking Bad, which he has a very, very impressive performance in that movie as well. Honestly, he plays kind of a similar character.
Wait, Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Like the TV show?
Yeah. In Breaking Bad, remember, he's like in towards the end, and he's one of the guys like holding Jesse Pinkman captive. He like is like the nephew of.
I don't remember that.
Let's see if I can just find. Remember, he like kills the kid who like they're in the desert, and there's a kid on a motorcycle, and the kid like is kind of near their operation, so he like kills him.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, he looks so young. Crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
But yeah, so he's like holding this CEO captive, saying that she's an alien.
Yeah.
And she's the one there. She's like here on Earth to like come take over the humankind. And
Yeah. Which she is.
I plead the fifth on that, but the whole anticipation of the movie is you trying to figure out like, okay, is this dude crazy, or is he right? And just like no one else is as tapped in as he is. So there's kind of like the back and forth between her trying to convince him he's just crazy, and like her different tactics in trying to get herself loose, essentially.
Negotiating.
Yeah.
She's the CEO. She's definitely negotiated some big deals.
Yeah.
This might be the biggest though for her own life.
And it's another one of those movies that's just like super draws back to a lot of real world stuff with like the habits she has at home, and like the company, and like kind of some of the bad stuff that they've gotten into in big business, and how it kind of screws over the average Joe. Anyway, in my opinion, that would be in addition to like the big four. From what I've seen, at least. I know there's a couple others that I haven't seen that are highly acclaimed, Hamnet being one of them.
Yeah.
But I think One Battle is going to win a lot. I don't know if it's going to win Best Picture necessarily, but at least from my personal opinion, like order of operations for the ones that I just listed that I've seen that could potentially win are... Actually, I don't even know if I can create that list.
Dude, what are you talking about? You can create that.
You got Sinners at number one?
I got Sinners at number one. For me, it would go. So I've only seen Sinners, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another. That's it. Well, and Frankenstein, we
yeah, we were
watched a
watching that
portion,
last
but
night.
like we didn't finish it. That was like decent though. It was.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, I'll definitely finish it.
Yeah. So like for me, I would say Sinners is number one. One Battle After Another is 2.
This is so
Frankenstein
hard,
is
dude.
3. Marty Supreme is 4 out of the ones I've watched. Begonia has me super interested though, so I think like
I know you'll put
that
it
one.
higher than Marty.
Yeah, I think that would probably be like based on what I've heard about it. I'm thinking that'll either be first or second for me. I think it would probably be second just because Sinners is like so good.
Yeah. We tried to go see Sinners in the theater this weekend because I've watched it a few times now and I'm a big fan. Like, I think that's definitely at my 1 or 2, but I never got a chance to see it in theaters, which sucks.
You know what's crazy is I haven't even heard of some of these. Like I've heard of the F1 movie, that one. I don't know anyone that's talked about it. Hamnet, I've never heard of.
Really?
The Secret Agent, never heard of.
Secret Agents in Portuguese. And it's with, what's that guy's name?
I mean, he looks like Pedro Pascal, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't think Pedro Pascal's in it. I watched the trailer.
No, that's not who I'm thinking of. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? That's not Pedro Pascal. I can't think of who he looks like.
Sentimental Value is like pretty good. A coworker of mine, or I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's pretty good. A coworker of mine said that that's his favorite out of this list.
Oh, wow. What's it about?
It's about like a dad and daughter who are both like in the film industry. I think the dad's a big director, but plays in movies sometimes. And they have a falling out, but they're casted in a movie together. And they like have beef, but are like putting it aside. I could be butchering it. I watched the trailer. But that is like extremely highly acclaimed. I'm interested in watching, honestly, everything that's on that list.
What about Train Dreams? What is
Train Dreams is with Joel Edgerton. You know who that is?
that? I mean, I'm guessing it's the guy in that photo, which I do know who that guy is.
Let me read the little synopsis here. A logger in the early 20th century American Northwest whose life is shaped by love, loss, and the changing landscape. Praised for its stunning cinematography and Edgerton's performance, the meditative drama follows Grainer's life from his work building railroads to personal tragedy, exploring themes of solitude, memory, and the vanishing frontier.
Yeah.
That's what I'd heard about it too.
think
It's
I've
kind of like
seen it.
transformative. Like it's shot insane.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like themes and things you can relate to. And his performance is supposedly really good.
Yeah.
I like him as an actor. I think he's like super good.
I think I've seen the trailer for that. That one does sound interesting.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah. That's the thing. All the ones that I've seen though, they're all shot like insanely good. Which like obviously it makes sense they're regarded as best picture, but like yeah, the caliber of how people shoot movies now is just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think of even like 5 years ago or like even a couple years ago, especially when I first started to understand and notice those types of things. I mean, it's gone up insanely high. Like even with like Marty Supreme, I didn't like the movie, but
Shot
the way it
beautifully.
was shot, I could watch that movie over again just to like pick apart what was happening.
Yeah.
And like it's always so clear now, and like you see all the colors and feel the colors in such a way that like can make you appreciate those things. So
That's what makes it so hard for me to rank them because, again, to compare it to music, I can listen to so many different genres of music and appreciate the production, appreciate the grandness, appreciate everything that goes into making a song that's maybe not popular music.
yeah,
So even if it's not something I'm going to listen to repeatedly, I can listen to a song and be like, very well made song.
yeah,
You know, the production is crazy. Like the drums were done super well. The chorus is catchy. The lead singer's voice is amazing.
yeah,
similar with movies is I can appreciate how they're shot and the different elements. And like I said, like the acting performances. And my buddy John and I have been going monthly to the theater and watching movies like on this list and ones that we've just been wanting to see. And he's been doing that for years. Like his family used to have a tradition where they go see a movie on Christmas every year. And he's more of like a film buff than I am. Every time we walk away, what would you rate it?
Yeah.
He has very like particular rating scale where he's like, well, I give that like a 6.7 and it's because of the XYZ.
Yeah.
And I'm really bad. And maybe it's just because I'm still new to this kind of like, it's so hard for me to see a movie and rank it because I'm like, storyline was ass, but it was like shot super good.
Yeah.
There was like a, super cool high point. There was this part that this character did that I thought was really cool. That one scene was like shot start to finish without any skips.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And that's why I even struggle with Mighty Supreme because I get the beef people have that. Like I understand completely why people don't like it. But that, like I said, I walk away and think about I could watch that over and over again because one, love Timothy, appreciated the marketing and like hype around all of it. And I also I was really looking forward to seeing Tyler. I knew it was his first acting performance. I listened to him in interviews talk about how it came out the same time, or they were shooting the same time that Chromacopia came out. So he was doing, I don't know if you're on social media at this time, but he was doing all these shows where he just was like popping up on like boats and like on like shipping containers in these like random pop-up spots and starting the tour for this album. And then like in the off hours was shooting his scenes for Marty.
Oh, damn.
So, and there's like one scene after they do that, like the hustle where like Timothy comes in, like beats that guy after like Tyler's beating him, and they like clean up all the money and they're like in the middle of nowhere at the gas station. Yeah. And all those guys like roll up on them. Yeah. Eventually they get away. And when Tyler drops off Timothy, he's like, get the fuck out of my car. Yeah. And Tyler explained when they shot that scene, he was like, I was sick. It was after like that shipping container show that I talked about. And that was like the 12th time that we'd shot that same take. It was in downtown New York City. Yeah. And I was genuinely wanting him to get the fuck out of my car and like finish shooting that scene so that I could go home and go to sleep. Yeah. That's crazy. Maybe a bit of a tangent about Tyler. That's unnecessary. But like, again, there's just certain things that I was anticipating and appreciated about it that don't have anything to do with the storyline or what others might attribute to them ranking it highly. Yeah. So I don't know what the purpose of that was, but that makes it hard for me to rank it. Like it makes me like I would put it up higher because of those things maybe.
Yeah, you can appreciate all the elements that it comes together to create this masterpiece and like all of the actual human lives that are being involved with it and how, they're creating this thing creating this world, but they have their own world outside of that. Yeah. And those influences too, which I get. And like, I know you like all the things. Like, so I get why it'd be hard for you to do that. I can kind of separate those things, I guess.
Yeah, I seriously think that's it. Like maybe I'm just not good at separating it or not as good as I could be at separating it.
But like, I understand because I love Timothy. Yeah. Like, I think he is, if not already recognized as like the guy, he will be the guy that is like the Leo of our time. Yeah. I think he's going to have a masterful career. There's only 2 movies that I've seen with him that I don't absolutely love. Yeah. And obviously this is one of them. Mm-hmm. But Tyler too, love Tyler. Like, I'm glad he's finally acting because you go to one of his shows and like, you see him on interviews and I think it is his personality, but he's also been acting.
Yeah. He knows how to turn it on.
Yeah. Like you watch his show. I remember always saying this to people is like, he's so masterful with his show and like, it feels like it's all natural, but I know based on who he is. Every single step damn near is like choreographed and planned. And
well, we know a lot of people like that too. So like I feel like it's easy to recognize that.
Yeah. But you watch it and you get lost in it and you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I know we could probably spend all the time in the world on movies, but something I wanted to go back to just kind of as we get closer to wrapping this up is the year 29 for you.
mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of a goal setter you are or how much you anticipate specific years added to your life as much as a new year, a new calendar year.
Yeah.
We've talked specifically about like what we've been up to and stuff today on your birthday, but what are your thoughts about this new year of life and goals and perspective changes and things as you get old?
Yeah. I can't say I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Pushing 30.
I think one thing that I like have been thinking a lot about is because I put a lot of time in it at the beginning of the year of like, you know, this is the plan. And it kind of was the plan, especially for 29, because I think I was telling you, like, I've had all these ideas of what I should be at by 30 and like, you know, what that looks like.
Yeah.
And like what my standard of like being on my path is.
Yeah.
Obviously those things change, but I think like some of the things are consistent. For me, it's like now I'm trying to find the balance between, okay, when can I have fun? How do I like be myself in every situation and like be okay with, you know, fully having my opinion shared, or like, you know, like when is it all right for us to party and have drinks, and like when should I haven't smoked at all, but like if I should do that again, you know, like having these conversations in my head is like, because we went out Friday, we had drinks, like, and I've recently been saying like, oh, it should be for special moments. Like it's not something that I do every weekend, but like I like to have a few drinks, like, and I like to have fun with people I love. And so like that's one conversation I've been having. The other one is like really focused on work, because I have the opportunity and the skills, I think, now to like do the things I've been saying I want to do. I think there's obviously so much more I need to learn when it comes to like closing deals and like all these things, but I'm confident enough that I can get a meeting or like get in front of somebody to make an impression on them to close a deal. But then also there's the piece of like the things I'm working on to build a business. And I shared with you this weekend, and I hadn't told you about like what I'm planning, which like I am going to keep that to myself right now.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm finding a way to balance life.
That's what I was going to say.
And I don't think I've ever understood that before. And I'm understanding how to keep my energy high so that I can do all those things, and how to be excited about everything I am doing. Because I think a lot of times, like, there is boredom that comes along with everything, and you have to be able to be okay with being bored to be great and like still give it your best ability. But I think there is a way to like create games within the games of what you're doing to stay excited about it. And I think talking about it is one thing, especially with like people that can relate and that you care about. Like Steph and I talk, we've been talking a lot more about like our businesses and why specifically we're making them, instead of like, I want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the thing for me, and it never was supposed to be. But as you go along in life and you have more responsibilities, you're like, shit, I need to pay for this. I need to live my life, you know, like I need these things, like, and as you get more money, you spend more money. It's, you know, a natural progression.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just like using my time wisely. Before I used to just let like, all right, I need to finish this thing. I'll use all 8 hours. Now I'm like, I got to finish this thing in 30 minutes. Like I need to get it done so I can stop thinking about it. And like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think life's a long time. But then I think about the big ass calendar actually kind of scared me a little bit when I looked at yours this week to understand like how little of time is within a year. And we've talked a lot about like memories this weekend of like from high school, from middle school, from, college, whatever it is, trying to remember those things. And to me, when I think about them, they're not that far away. Maybe it's because I can remember really well some of those moments, and some of those maybe are manufactured memories, who knows? But
Yeah.
I don't know, I just don't want to waste time, and I want to make sure that I'm not scared to live. So
Something that I can relate to, and like kind of what I'm getting from what you're saying, going into 29, we're getting to the place where we've experienced many different versions of ourselves
yeah,
that are different formulas, essentially.
Yeah.
There's versions of ourselves where we're not drinking at all.
yeah,
There's versions of ourselves where we're lifting a lot. We're prioritizing the gym and working out because we want to be healthy.
yeah,
There's times where we're super passionate about a business idea.
Yeah.
So we're working out less. We're, drinking or whatever. There's different combinations of these things. And we're getting closer to figuring out what the ideal balance of that looks like,
yeah,
and the ideal combination of all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the drinking part, I think is interesting, and just like there's like a taboo that comes with, or taboo is not the word, but like when you tell yourself that you're not drinking because you've like created this challenge for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it's taking away a couple of drinks and a night out with friends,
yeah,
and like the looseness that's important to have because we work so hard the other days.
yeah,
Drinking specifically isn't maybe the point there. It's just like finding a balance between being able to just like live your life and like do things in a not that serious manner, but then know when it's important to lock in and prioritize the things like the gym and the business and whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I think like one thing that I've been battling with too, with specifically what you're talking about with like drinking and seeing people, is like prioritizing seeing people you care about.
Yeah.
Like, so I have a group of friends in Chicago that now we meet usually at least once a month, maybe twice a month. But now our excuse to meet is like, well, we're going to try all the best burgers in Chicago. And we're rating them.
Yeah.
But it's really like a night to have a night out with each other and like talk about bullshit and, especially talk about like what's going on in the world, our opinions on that, and like, the crazy shit that happens with work and all that, whatever the things are. But, they're there to have a few drinks. And now I'm there and I'm like, I could have 2 old fashions, like, as long as I'm not sending it every time. Because for me, the thing with like drinking specifically is, for my whole life, I've had the issue of like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And then I'm out for 3 days from being hungover.
Yeah.
Now I think I know myself enough and like know enough of what I want that I can be like, I can have this amount and I'll still be fine tomorrow as long as I've done these things, And like, I trust myself enough to know when to stop, or like to know when it's my time to go home.
100%.
Because I've always been the one that hangs out the longest.
Yeah.
But I don't want to hang out the longest anymore.
Well, you just have to find a new version of that as we become adults. Like, we maybe don't need to stay up until 2 a.m., but like you said, it's okay if I have a couple old fashions and like, I know I'm going to take an Uber and I'm going to have a burger tonight instead of a salad.
Yeah.
As much as it's has benefits for us to live this like 24/7 locked in lifestyle, how limiting is, how much are we limiting like fun and just like truly living our lives by 24/7 trying to be dialed in? I'm interested to know, because I have the same thought process of like 30 being this, I need to have XYZ figured out by 30.
Yeah.
I have like very specific goals in like what I'm spending my time doing business wise, plus like how much money I'm making,
Yeah.
and more granular goals as well. But what do you think it is about 30 specifically that we're creating like guardrails for and expectations on for us to have stuff figured out by then?
I mean, when I was young, I just thought 30 was so fucking old.
Yeah.
Like, so old. Maybe it is, I don't know. But like, to me at 20, I couldn't imagine myself at 30. And I was like, I mean, I think every young person does this. They think about like, oh, 24, I'm going to be married. I'm going to be on my way to having a kid, or I'm going to have a kid, like all these things. And like, to me, 30 was like, that is being a complete adult right there. You need to have your life figured out. You need to have your kids. You need to have your dog and your white picket fence and all these things. And now, like, I think it's still in regards like similar, but for me, 30, I now understand what responsibility is. I understand, Steph and I talk about marriage. We talk about kids, we talk about all these things of like, here are the next steps in life. Are we ready for that next step? And I've been learning, especially the last few years, what it means to be a man and how to be a man. And I think now at 29, especially during 28, like, I know what it takes to be a real man. And I've been trying a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But 30, I'm giving myself grace to like get there.
Yeah.
And to be complete of like, at least the consistent things, the foundation of consistency to make it happen by 30, because I think like I've tried to stay stationary, like of my location, and trying to make things like so consistent that it makes it easy to be consistent in a lot of different things. But at 30, I'm like, well, I want to be going to different places. I want to be in different locations and
Consistent where it matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, no matter what is happening in the world, what's going on, where I'm at, all these things, I know the 5 things that I need to do every single day that are going to make me stay who I am and grow as who I want to be.
It's well said.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, it's easier said than done. Like I don't know. I appreciate your perspective on it, because I think that my brain is similar, and I know that you like to get introspective, and so do I when it comes to my birthday. Like, I don't have this grand change or anything, but obviously we're getting closer to 30 specifically, which for years I've had as a specific, I want this figured out by then.
Yeah.
And now we're getting closer to where we have to figure out more specific details of what that actually looks like and how we actually get there.
Yeah.
It's not just something that we're hoping to have figured out by now.
Yeah.
It's we're having to go through the trial and failure of figuring out what version of ourselves yields those results that we're hoping for by 30.
Yeah.
You only got a year left to figure that out.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not scared of it, because I, to some extent, am putting one foot in front of the other always.
Yeah.
And not trying to think too far ahead.
Yeah.
But now I'm to the place where I've put enough feet in front of the other to that feels realistic. Those goals feel realistic. Exactly. And I don't know. It's, good to unpack it on the actual day of your birthday to go back and look on it to see if you follow up.
I think like you said, though, it's at this point, I'm not scared of it either. But I think especially one reason why it's great to be around you on my birthday too. And like, I think in general, why I love getting with you is because I understand you're on the same journey in different ways. But like, I look at your life and I'm like, okay, he's doing this and I see what it's yielding for him. I'm going to try that. And I think it's going to, I think like one thing, it's like, I'm excited for you when we get together because I see how great like you are, even more so than I already knew.
Yeah.
And like where I think your life's going. But then it makes me reflect on my life too of like, okay, where can I add from what he's doing, and like, what can I take? What's going to work for me to make me better?
Yeah.
Because I think you're nerdy about certain things and I'm nerdy about other certain
I was
things.
just gonna say, like, vice
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah. So like even like the drink this morning, I was like, I'm not the type to look into vitamins and like understand those. I've tried, just not for me.
Yeah.
But like I know you already know that, so it's like, okay, I'll just steal that from you.
Yeah.
You know?
You're always good at calling it out too, because I'll like think about that shit. Like like the espresso is a good example. There's little things that you're hyper obsessed with that
Yeah.
I somehow get put onto and like find interest, because I think we have the same underlying thought process about why we like the stuff that we like.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the exposure to it and seeing it through the lens of someone else who's researched it and has found interest in it. There's like a famous quote by Rick Rubin that he says, if two people tell him that he should try something, then he'll give it a try. And I don't necessarily agree to that. Like I'm not just going to gain interest from something from hearing something repeatedly.
Yeah.
My version of that is if I hear it from someone I know and love and trust,
Yeah.
and that appreciates things the same way that I do,
Yeah.
that's when I'll try it, and that's when I'll find some sort of interest in it.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, interesting that little things that I'm just doing in my day to day are things that
Yeah.
you find interesting, because vice versa.
Exactly. I think it comes down to the quote for me of like, great artists steal.
Yeah.
You know, I think I probably mentioned him on here. My buddy Austin, the guy is the best seller I've met in my life. But like, if you convince him at all that something's gonna make him better, he just tries it.
Yeah.
If you like have
And that
any-
compounds
Yeah.
over the years, you know?
Yeah. And I think like you just going back to the piece of like not being scared to live, that can be with little things too. Just like if you think something's cool, just try it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are scared to try. I'm scared to try things at times. Like I tried a knitting club and now I'm part of a knitting club on Mondays. Like, but that sounded like something that was so grand, and like, you know, most people that think of people that knit is like old women, you know? And I also, people say it's really hard to do certain things, which I'm sure it is, but to go there, it was like, they were so happy that somebody different was trying it or that somebody wanted to learn about it. Like the lady that was teaching me said she's been doing it for like 60 years. She said she started at 10. She was making her Barbies their clothes by knitting.
Wow.
Just crazy. So I don't know. I think like putting yourself out there and just figuring out what you like, what you don't like, and living.
I'd be interested to know about the psychology in us, or just in general, or past life experiences or whatever that contribute to us being able to go to a knitting class or like do things that objectively may be nerdy or unexpected from the average Joe, because I don't know, I don't give a damn. Like if it's things that, you know, people wouldn't typically do or try, especially when it comes to like health. So maybe that's the bottom line there. But like, I don't know, I'm down to try kind of whatever and find interest in things like knitting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know like what creates that in us.
Yeah. I do think it's funny at work. People say this all the time. It's like you get done with a weekend. This would probably happen to you if you were in office too, but people would be like, you just do so many different things like in a week.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And usually it's trying, but I wonder what the psychology, like you said, is behind all that of like trying.
All right. Well, a quick call that's booting us off the podcast here. Sounds like we're going to do some dinner. But brother, appreciate you coming to town. It's been a blast. Feels like a vacation in a sense. We've packed the days full.
Yeah.
It feels like a good restart and going back into new work week. So I'm glad you guys came. Glad we got an in-person pod.
Yeah, the
under our
in-person
belt.
has been great too.
Yeah, it's gonna suck going back to the virtual, but we'll have to find a way to do this more often. But
For sure.
appreciate you as always.
Yeah. Always
And
a
happy
pleasure.
birthday.
Thanks, man.
All right. That's gonna be a good thumbnail right there. Look at the cam. Bah. All right.